Yeah, mine's up.
Yeah, you need to redo it.
No excuses. Actually, you know what's strange? I never heard any dings at all.
Silent right now.
Mine says I'm no longer a member.
I know, but like the problem is that, well, actually, this is a good point. Okay, so teachers, when the school year starts, even if your phone's on vibrate, you need to set it up in such a way that you're still going to get an alert.
Caitlin did a tutorial on that last year.
You always have to be able to hear a WhatsApp emergency.
Yeah.
You go into, I can show you how to do it. You go into your settings and you can specifically set WhatsApp to notify, even when you have a notification sign. I mean, I know they're on iPhone. I don't know about
Yeah, see, I'm not getting, so something's messed up with mine because I'm not getting, oh, Annie's still on there. But yeah, like I'm not getting your alerts, which is actually probably fine. You just want to be able to get the initial one from me or whoever puts the emergency out, right? It might not be me, it might be Anna, it might be one of you. That you see something. So in that sense, from this channel, yeah, you do need to have some kind of alert.
So mine has the silent thing on it, but I don't know, it won't let me undo
Oh,
it.
really?
It's on, it's not like silent. Keep clicking on it. And it won't, it does this.
Yeah, we'll have to go into settings. We'll have to go into settings and take a look at that. So anyway, yeah, so teachers, I mean, this is like we established this, I don't know, a year and a half ago?
2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Or 3
Yeah.
years.
We this is a good way to go. It's recommended to us by Sergeant Roundy to do WhatsApp, and yeah, it seems like it has worked pretty well. The radios, they can be kind of inconsistent, and also too, of course, with the radios, as you know, it's like every time you say something on the radio, the whole world, quote unquote, knows. Meaning, right, whoever's on channel 7, which might not only be people in our school, but also because if it's tapped, like if someone taps into, they know what they're doing a little bit, they tap into our radio signal, which is theoretically possible, then you're constantly letting them know what's going on. The other issue is that the kids hear everything, which in a real big, scary emergency, you do not want the kids to hear the panic and the confusion and everything else going on. That's what we want this WhatsApp to be about.
So you're the one that has to add new members. So I'm not in this
Or
one.
I can.
Yeah,
You're
I'm
not in this?
I'm not in this, so
It says Inez Odegaard left. So why did you leave?
I didn't.
Can you like
I
reactivate
didn't
it?
get it.
Oh, we need to get May in there.
You just
Can
have to
you
put me
reactivate
back
mine?
in.
It says I'm no longer a member.
Oh, okay.
Then do you want me to do it? Okay, I need to add Inez.
Yeah.
And May, and then, Abigail.
Yeah.
Patty, yeah.
I think, well, Abby and I got new phones this summer. I think that's why ours isn't working.
That's what I'm really kind of struggling. Oh, I heard it. I heard the noise. Heard the-
Who else? Katie, are you in there? No? Who else? Anybody else? I got May, Katie, Abigail, Inez. Patty, you're not in there?
I have the list. Are you adding people already?
I'm just doing it really quick because it's so easy. Already added to the group, Patty. So,
Let's refresh.
boom. I added, boom, boom.
Okay, so I should be on there.
All right. So, in the meantime, make sure it is downloaded on your phone. Notifications are turned on. I already tested the system. Radios in every classroom. We talked about that.
Are you okay with the thumbs up?
Yeah. Go ahead. Yep,
So
already talked about
WhatsApp,
that.
let's talk about WhatsApp for just 1 second.
Yeah.
It's not a chat.
No.
But I think most of us, nobody really, I think there was maybe some chattiness that started towards the end of the year. But it's not like super basic communication relating to the emergency at hand or the drill at hand.
I mean, you could do that on a personal one-to-one, right? Yeah. Text, right?
Well, and so this is going, just so you know, this WhatsApp group, all of our board members are on there.
Yeah.
Jordan Brownlee is on there. Somebody. So they're all getting all of these messages.
Yeah, I got them all last year. I remember, I'm like, I'm not there, I'm not a part of the.
Then can you read?
I just did that. Good job.
Okay.
All right.
I think when you get a new phone, you're automatically kicked out.
Oh, yeah, got a new phone, that's right.
Oh, it's good to know.
Got a new
Because
phone.
Abigail
Good
me
to know.
has, and it said this, you're registered with it too.
That's
You need
exactly
glasses
right.
and a new phone.
Yeah.
Oh, and the other thing that I mentioned just real quick about WhatsApp that we talked about before, teachers, is that do not set the alarm as your ordinary, oh, I just got a meme from my girlfriends at church
Right.
alert. Okay? It needs to be like one thing. Like, oh, that's right. That's that sound. You need to associate that one sound with an emergency. That's my encouragement to you, kids. So, okay. And then I was thinking about this when we were talking about texting, and I wanted to. Now I'm reminded again. So yes, on the texting. So this is for it's called St. Abraham's Emergency Channel. Okay. So that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good.
So this is an emergency channel. It's not a chat channel. Let's talk about text just real quick. Yes, it is true. I love our teacher thread. I think it's really helpful. And for that one, let's try to like use that group chat during recess times, lunch times, and not like academic time, because we don't need to be distracted by like, hey, I brought an extra bag of coffee for anyone who, which is awesome. Please do
I
that.
think that's
That's an emergency
so in the kitchen.
My encouragement is just sometimes it can get a little chatty, which I think is great sometimes. I'm glad. But it would probably be better to like put that during, concentrate it during recess and lunch. Because that way, then we're like, oh, okay, now I'll go check my phone.
Can we, I think it'd be helpful to set a deadline for Lady Virtue and Man of Honor on like by Thursday
Thank
evening,
you.
because
Thank
like
you.
literally 15
Yes.
minutes sometimes before, then it's just like, does anybody have?
Yeah,
Sarah?
no,
And then
I-
my phone's like dinging
But
off, so I was like, I'm trying to get my kids ready.
I totally
go.
take responsibility for that.
Well, no,
You're
I will,
absolutely
in the weekly staff check-in though, every single one says, please email us. So I ask people like
Yeah,
early
I
in the
remember
week,
that. Yeah.
all year long, and we just don't hear back from anyone, and so that's when we're like, okay, we need to know. So I mean, I could send out a,
I think a reminder would be very helpful.
yeah, a reminder, yeah, so I am sending out that on Thursday.
Like at the end of after dismissal, send it out right there.
I try to send out that email on Thursdays for the specifically for
You
that.
can't do it on the teacher group chat.
That's when we do it, but I can do it on Thursday. And then we'll see it.
Do we want to say like Thursday by 5 p.m. or something? Or make that as a good, it'd be good for you to have that in your mind too, because then it's like, hey, let's just try to put a little thought into this,
Then at Thursday at 3 or 2,
Yeah.
2 o'clock, we still don't have anyone yet.
Yeah.
Even Thursday at
I mean, I
lunchtime.
will
Yeah.
definitely try, but that is also one of the reasons why I send out that staff email.
Yeah,
So
so
if we're reading the staff email, then hopefully we see that bullet point, we're like, oh, I send it out on Thursday. And I can do that, it's just like Ben said, like sending out like numerous reminders when I have one email reminder for a lot of things.
Maybe we all need to just set an alarm on our phone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I did have
That's
one.
like-
I still ignored it. I still ignored it.
Sometimes I just wouldn't, because I just figured,
Someone
oh,
else
there's
probably
probably
did.
somebody
Yeah.
already did it.
Would you like a nomination from those classes?
Yeah.
For every week?
Oh.
I mean,
You
but we're
should.
trying not to repeat kids throughout the year, right?
Yeah, like so. Just real quick, teachers, like here's the big picture stuff, and I welcome your ideas and suggestions. I want to keep things fresh, and sometimes I just kind of doing the next thing, and I don't have time to put a lot of thought into any particular thing at the moment. But yeah, we want to try to move around. We want to try to get to as many different students as possible, and not just like the same students. Because it is a little tempting to do sometimes, because you do have students that are very virtuous, and they're consistent, and you really want to praise that. So, but we do want to like spread it around. And we want to try to hit different facets of virtue too, right? Academic virtue. Okay. Definitely. I think what a lot of times ends up happening is just like a praise for, being a servant and being helpful. And that's like, yes, we want to do that, but like, help me think creatively too. Okay, about maybe something they did at home. Maybe something they did at home and you heard about it, and it doesn't necessarily have to be at school, right? And you hear about it in prayer time or something like that. Like, just help me to think creatively. I want to cover praise a lot of different kinds of virtue, and then a lot of different kind of students.
I was going to say, my students all know, not only among their own class, but out of the whole school, and they'll have these conversations where they're like, so-and-so has never gotten, lady of virtue. Like, they know if a kid hasn't gotten it.
years.
Yeah, no, and so they track it, and they're a little bit like, well, what do you expect? That kid's never gotten that award. So, I don't know. I tried to hit all of them, and I think there was a couple that didn't get it, and I'm going to have to be really creative to figure out a good excuse for that kid to get it.
Get it again, that's right.
We last year we had like a list of like, here's the students, and we definitely need to keep that thing going. It helps with the organization. Here's the student and why, like a little something on why. So it's like, it helps. It's
Yeah, we're hard to keep in track.
I think it's easy too for like students who are just always obedient or like just generally good, get overlooked sometimes.
Yeah.
So when somebody who typically is struggling, we tend to really highlight those, and then the ones that are by God's grace, just generally good students, just remembering those.
Remember
That's
that
true.
story we heard about Bennett at the school in Idaho when we visited, about the kid that was very disobedient in kindergarten, and then he went on to be the captain of the football team. Remember I told him?
trying to remember.
Oh my gosh, that was such a great story. We could tell it another time.
Okay.
We don't have time to go through this.
Yeah. So drills, it's important to kind of know pretty close to the beginning here, just kind of basically what to do.
So I'm just gonna go through drills super fast, okay? And then we'll go a little bit more in-depth stuff. So we all know there's 4 types of drills. I put that in here. Hall check. So if you hear hall check, hall check, hall check come over through the radio, it's not a lockdown. So like I said, we're just gonna skim over this super fast. All you do is you just peek out the door, you just look around your classroom, and you type into WhatsApp if you see anything suspicious. So this will be like if we see somebody and sees somebody on the field that's not supposed to be there, or a dog. We have like this big German Shepherd out there. You can do like call check, call check, call check. No, but you would do anyway.
So I would be saying I'll take
No, you tell me, right?
No,
Yes, and
no.
she does it. She does it.
Yeah.
You do
Anyway.
call check into WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And on the radio, and you type into WhatsApp what you're seeing. And the call check will trigger everybody else to also do a round. And then you report through WhatsApp what you're seeing. If you don't see anything, you don't report. You're not in lockdown. You don't let your kids leave until we give the okay, but you're not in lockdown. Lockdown is when you hear lockdown, you lock down your classroom. And we'll go into the details of what that is, but that's closing your blinds, locking your doors, putting your kids in safe places that we talked about, turn off the lights. So you're in lockdown because there's like a danger outside. I'm like giving goosebumps today. There's a danger outside. So all of the other situations like music and PE, we'll talk about that. But because who knows what could happen next week when we have kids, we have to know. Reverse evacuation is if we're outside. So this is kind of tricky because reverse evacuation is for the students who are outside in recess or lunch. But it's a lockdown for the kids who are in class. So everybody has to go back. Or a reverse evacuation would happen if there's like a weather incident. So we just call reverse evacuation, and everybody needs to go inside. And if it's a lockdown, we will make that known. So reverse evacuations, If it gets windy and stormy again, that might happen, but,
And this is all through WhatsApp?
well, so, if it's a lock, no, so it comes through WhatsApp and the radio. Just the simple words, lockdown, lockdown, lockdown. Call check, call check, call check.
Can I see that sheet that actually, it's actually within that, it's probably your clipboard, right there.
Oh yeah, and I can show. And then, evacuation, this is the first one. This is when we're leaving the classrooms. Right, so earthquake evacuation is slightly different. And you have this right here, I'm sorry, I should have shown you that. So you have all of your drill protocols in here. I'm sorry, in this packet. Earthquake, the current, whatever, what they're telling you to do. Drop, cover your neck, and then hold on. And then when evacuation is called, we'll call the evacuation over the radio and evacuate the kids out of the classroom. What Jordan Brownlee kept telling us is it's all about, like, a lot of it is just situational awareness. And we're all smart people. That we can control a classroom, we can figure out, should we take them down the stairs, should we not take them down the stairs? So, a lot of this is just you being aware of what's going on around you and you making the decision in the moment, what is good for you. So evacuation, earthquake is a slightly different because you're not leaving the classroom right away. Fire evacuation, if you hear evacuation, 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 and you hear the fire drill, then you're leaving the classroom.
One of my students already observed there's a fire ladder in the upstairs classroom.
Oh, you
Very excited.
We'll have to talk about that.
If you hear the fire alarm go off, what do you do?
Yeah. So we've done for everyone.
So-
What did you say, Abby?
Wait for WhatsApp?
Stay put. Stay put.
Oh, yes, because of what happened in that shooting in Franklin.
Oh, yeah.
Because the shooter pulled the fire alarm and all the students started filing out of the
So
classrooms.
you mean an unscheduled fire alarm?
Yes, unscheduled fire alarm.
Any
Yeah,
fire
yeah,
alarm.
that's right, yeah.
You know, so
Any fire alarm.
Well, but
It
if
doesn't
we're
have to be
having
unscheduled.
But if it's a drill, because you'll hear, when we do a drill, we'll say,
you're right,
It
actually.
should be
Yeah.
whatever
We
we
need
do
to
in real life
practice.
is what we're practicing.
You're right. We need to practice, you know, for
Exactly
the real
how it
deal.
is.
and I think
Yeah.
we did that in our drill actually.
I think you're right. And right, there's some went right out, so we learned a little lesson there. But many of you teachers stayed put. So hence the WhatsApp, right? That's how we communicate with each other. That's why it's so important. Radio is good too, but remember that the radio goes to all the kids and everything.
Well, also during a lockdown, you'll hear lockdown, or code red, and then you have to turn your radio off because all communication needs to be.
That's exactly
But not
right.
code red, because as of now, we're not.
It's
Yes.
lockdown.
Lockdown.
It's lockdown.
Yeah, but Jan is right.
Yes,
In a
yes.
lockdown, if you hear lockdown, you have to turn off your radio and you have to silence your phones.
Yeah.
You have to watch your phone for what's happening.
Exactly.
You need to have something to remind us of that.
That's all of you.
So, you know, you do have the emergency procedures in there and there's the detailed steps there. So, you know, it would be good for us to go over that, you know, like a staff meeting, we'll take one at a time, things like that. In the meantime, like, here's a little sheet.
Yeah.
All of you have this in your rooms or should, if you don't.
I almost
let
wonder
us
if we
know.
should add little bullet points that are like, turn off phone,
Yeah.
check WhatsApp,
I think that would
you
be
know, like
helpful.
onto that sheet, like right
Yeah,
below
I
each
see what you're
one.
saying.
That would be
Little
really.
checklist, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, like check WhatsApp, then evacuate. Just like,
That's a good point.
because I was gonna say, like, if I have one of these and I'm kind of fuzzy because we haven't done a lockdown procedure for 8 months and I'm almost 15, I can't remember anything.
Exactly.
Like, I don't want to have to be like,
Definitely.
okay, wait, check the page.
Yeah, I totally forget everything. I'm
Like having it all
totally
like
disorganized.
bullet point, like just even 2 or 3 things, like don't just leave, check WhatsApp.
I think the key is
Yeah.
not making it too detailed,
Yeah, that's
but
what I mean,
making
like,
it just detailed enough.
Exactly.
Just the main things.
Exactly.
so I would love like 2 bullet points on each of those, and I can make my own and share them if you want.
Sure.
So
So
the
I
other-
just wanted to, like, again, so the
Yeah.
4 things. Evacuation, it does say moving away from a threat inside. Evacuate, right? Logical. Reverse evacuation, moving in from a threat outside. Reverse evacuation, that's what that is. So threats outside, you move in, you get safe. Hall check. Here's the thing about hall check. When you hear hall check, don't like freak out and panic. Like it's just be cautious, be aware, make sure your door is locked, look outside your classroom door.
Don't let your kids out.
Yes. But the key is you continue instruction, right? So detect, protect, and continue instruction. That's hall check. Lockdown is the one that's like, all right, here we go. Time to OODA loop. Observe, orient, decide, act. That's what they teach all the guys in the military. Observe, police officers, orient, decide, act. Okay, OODA loop. So that is an emergency, and or we likely think there is going to be something that's super heavy and scary. So then you got to calm down and you got to think about, I need to protect these kids. What is the safest thing I can do? So secure space for threat of imminent violence, lockdown.
So when we say evacuate, everybody knows where evacuate at the field, line up. Everyone should have this, put by their door, taking the medical files out, they used to be in there, but you will have a roster in there. And, but it'll be a roster for every class that is in that classroom during the day, which for lower school teachers is pretty simple. But like your art class, they'll have the rosters for all of those kids in here. Who else is in here? So Anessa's 5th grade, 6th graders will be on this clipboard.
Right.
Upper school gets a little bit more complicated.
And then you'll have to add mine to what's in 201.
And then when we get out there, you go through and we have these cards. If you're missing someone, even if they're absent, you know they're absent, you hold up this card, and then we'll come and ask you, no, this kid is absent, he's missing. And then you
Home
have,
to the afternoon.
hold up this, you have everyone.
Okay, cool. Anything else initially on that? We're going to continue to go over the emergency protocols in detail and the steps because that's important. But for today, I mean, that's kind of the big picture. Okay, so, okay, I think we're at school calendar. So I don't know if the school's calendar is attached. But
It's
a
not,
link will
but,
be sent out in every weekly staff email, right, Anna?
Yeah, so your staff email always has a link to the calendar, it has a link to the field trip request form, time off request form. There's a link to the school Google Calendar if you want to add that to your Google Calendar. Some people don't like to do that.
Good. Okay, so field trips. Hey, please do field trips. But see if you can find a mom or a dad. At other schools we've been a part of, it was so nice. They, it's always nice and ideally works. But if you can find a mom or dad that's willing to be like, you can be my field trip mom. And I want you to think about field trips and can you help me plan them? And if that's so nice as a teacher, right? If you have someone who's kind of on that, and you need to be very involved with it, but like say, hey, these are my goals and this is what we're studying this year, and I'd like to kind of like do this and this, and can you sort that out and plan that? That would be, if you can find someone like that, it would be so nice for you. But can you think about doing field trips spread throughout the year? And if you're like me, that's nice, thanks, but it ends up like kind of getting smashed at the end of the year. But it's always nice when we don't smash at the end of the year. And I'm looking at myself. I want to spread things out a lot better this year, especially toward the end of next year. So just kind of spread them out, And it'll be nice for the students too if they can be a little more spread out. So, but please do field trips. They're just amazing.
The field trip request form, there's a copy.
Turn
They're also
into
anonymous.
Anna or myself, and then Anna will add these to the calendar and to the staff Google account. Now, one thing I noticed, Anna, is like we need to make a decision here. Like I know that in my communication with the school, a time had not been set when I had communicated my letter from the headmaster to the school in late July. Times weren't set, and I was like, okay, I want to communicate. I'm gonna set a time, and I set a time, and the time that I set, I'm pretty sure was what I communicated. I think I communicated 6 o'clock. So like we have to make a decision on like, are we going to stick with what I've communicated, or do we feel like sometimes we need to change it? That's
so
fine.
you're sure that it was 6? Because I thought it was 6:30, but
Oh, you're talking about tomorrow night? I mean, Wednesday night?
I'm talking about Wednesday night.
Right, yeah.
We'll look on
Yeah.
the newsletter.
Sure, I looked it up last
wouldn't
month.
be in the newsletter, it would be, and he's talking about.
It was from Facts, but it was from me. So I
Okay.
checked this last night. Let me check again. Really quick. Make sure.
Can you please add the teachers to that communication?
Oh yeah.
Because I'm
Yeah.
not on there.
Yeah, I didn't get it either to myself.
Oh really?
It only went to parents.
Oh. Okay. I think I might know what happened with that. Yes, but the answer is yes.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm looking at my note and I said 6 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, are we changing this here to where only you're talking, but the students might come to the classrooms?
We're going to highly encourage students to come to the
And are the teachers coming to the talk as well?
Okay, well, we have to talk about this, because I realized that during the lower school orientation, we probably need to keep that pretty short because the kids and the parents are going to be there, and the kids are not, lower school kids are not going to sit through an hour orientation.
Yeah.
It would be like chaos. So I think
We might have kids come to that.
no, I
Historic.
think we definitely would, because they
Okay.
can't be running around, because it's meet your teacher.
Right.
So your classroom, the kids will
We're
be.
doing an orientation and a back to school night.
No, it's not back to school night.
Well, there is on the schedule.
You know, that's kind of what we ended up doing last year. This year, I think we might need to do the same because I just don't think we're prepared. And that's not your fault.
Prepared for what?
Oh, how are
Prepared
those?
to do the back to school night tomorrow.
Oh, no,
Wednesday.
no, that's not what this was.
No,
Well, there's
it's
a
me, your
back to school
teacher.
It says it as back to school night on here.
So I'm trying to figure out what's the
Where does
difference.
it say it?
It's listed on the dates under the school calendar.
Back to
Yeah,
school
but
night.
that's not for tomorrow, that's not tomorrow, that
Oh,
says.
that's,
Yeah,
that's.
I understand. I'm trying to figure out what's the difference between orientation and back.
Okay, so the back to school night,
We've never had the orientation.
No.
the orientation is kind of a new thing. The back to school night is where here's my syllabus. It's the evening to say here's my expectation for your students
It's only for
In our
parents,
classroom.
in your
Yeah.
classroom.
it's not for students.
But this is.
It's not for
What's
students.
orientation?
Orientation is when, well, we're talking about policies that the parents need to know before school starts. Like, we're gonna talk about shoes and like running shoes.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about
basketball shoes.
uniforms. We're gonna talk about if you're absent. We're gonna talk about how many absences you have. We're gonna talk about tardies. We're gonna talk
More
about
like
what's gonna.
school policies.
Yeah, but then also for upper school, it's like actually really more important for upper school students because we're talking about electronic device policies, driving,
Culture. I'm gonna talk about
upper school culture.
So should lower school kids come to the lower school, so no lower kids to the lower school orientation, but upper school kids?
No, see, that's what I just realized yesterday. It hit me that there's going to be lower school kids there, so we can't have an hour long orientation, like lower school orientation. So I would need to talk to you about that today.
I have upper school
My
students.
upper school student is my babysitter, so.
Okay.
No, I mean, I'm fully expecting students, all the students to be there, which is why doing an hour long lower school.
But teachers
orientation-
aren't required to be there then, like if you didn't have kids here.
Well, but they're coming to meet their teachers. So teachers need to be here on Wednesday.
So that is like back to school night.
Well, just for that one thing.
It is like it in a sense.
What if you broke it up? What if the first part is a welcoming, everybody's there, greeting parents, greeting children, and then students and teachers are released to their new classrooms. I know it's last minute, but then the teacher,
I won't be ready for like syllabus.
Oh, yeah,
I
no,
know,
no,
I
no,
just
no.
mean like, hey, kids,
It's
here's
like
your classroom. Little ones are I don't know, like, so maybe kinder, you could show them the room,
Yeah.
their cubbies, or.
We can
I
do
used to
that.
have
Yeah.
parents be with their kids during the classroom though. You
Yeah.
don't have to get a bunch
So
of.
I think my thought is that the lower school is just like half an hour. We just keep things very short, like just talk, we pick a couple, 2 or 3 things that are actually really important. When I realized this yesterday, I was trying to figure out this question. Upper school, those kids can sit, I mean, they can sit. I don't know how many upper school kids will actually come. And that might not even be an hour, like we don't.
Yeah. It's the upper school one that is more important for what is the objective of this evening. It's important for the lower school parents too.
Yeah,
Because that's when we need to share, hey, like we're gonna charge your tax account, if you're this amount of minutes late. Like that's when we need to hit that time. We need to hit all that stuff, we need to cover all that, and that's just as important for the lower school parents as it is for
And
upper
like there's stuff where we need to make eye contact, like with all the parents.
So
be
can I
like,
ask
"Hear
this question? It might make it more relevant. I mean, what are your expectations of parents showing up?
We said it was required.
It's required.
You
But
said
that doesn't mean everybody's gonna come.
Yeah, not every, people are out of town. People have been,
I mean,
you
I'm
know.
not in trouble, like, it's not like.
Right, so what I'm trying to say is you're gonna have a way to communicate to those parents everything that you're gonna talk there, right? So why don't you tailor it so that it's much more short? You're communicating what you're doing, but because there's so many people that aren't gonna be there, you're gonna have to communicate that in the second way
Well, a lot of
anyway.
this stuff I put in the, like, at the beginning of the year, I put in the newsletter, like, here's our drop off procedure, here's, our pickup procedure. Let's focus on this part of dress code in this week's newsletter. So we could, so maybe the few things that we hit, I'll just send out in that. I really want parents to look at the newsletter. Like, I really want that to be your main method of communication.
I would be willing personally to take TK and kindergartners, like pretend it's Sunday school, and then we can go into the TK room and I can read a story.
Sure.
Even 30 minutes.
Yeah.
For them,
For them, I'm just gonna be, I'm not gonna be able to. No, I mean, just as an option to think about. And Ross can.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think this is a great evening for the parents, just like hear the vision briefly, and then hear the important policies, and here we are, and welcome back to school, and make a distinction between back to school night that evening too. It's like we're gonna do that a little later. And then, but here's your teacher.
Yeah, I was gonna say the expectation of teachers, we are going to go ahead and host families in our classrooms and just say, hey, great to see everybody.
It's meet.
We've done that every year. And we've always had like 2 days that
Okay.
they can meet the teacher, they can bring their supplies. Remember, we always had to have that at the beginning of the school year. So that's
so
nothing
on a
new.
quick note, because I know we're almost done, and I'm not saying that I'm ending the meeting now.
No, we need to end it.
But on that note, we really are trying to be aware of how often you teachers are here in the evenings. But do expect on like one evening a month where we have like either back to school night or like meet the teacher night or like so just that's what we're shooting for is just
Right.
one evening a month. I don't think we went over that last year.
I mean, I would say at minimum. There's gonna be times where it's gonna be more.
Right, probably, but I honestly don't. It could go be more, but I don't think we did more than that last year. So.
Yeah.
Just be.
Cool. Okay, so what this means on your sheet is in front of you, I think is wrong. So as my bad. It's just want to be real clear on the time. So what I've communicated, I think I'd like to stick with because I'd like try not to change what's been communicated. So orientation lower school 6 p.m. which means you need to be here at 5:30.
Oh, you said that in the email or something.
Okay.
That's a good idea.
So I just needed to choose a time. When I was emailing this out, I was like, well, okay, I just
Yeah,
came up with a time.
and I guess this month you'll be here too. I mean, if you can make it'd be great if you could make it to the back to school barbecue. So that would be 2 evenings a month.
Well, if we're doing, okay.
So back to school barbecue is really fun.
Pepper
school You get
school
free dinner.
And that's
Yeah.
like a makeup teacher as well. Or
No,
like a-
that's just
okay.
fun.
Okay.
Let's just hang out, eat food.
You're gonna get mechanical bowl games.
What's that?
Mechanical
No
bowl.
bowls. What? So you could just spread the word, no
No
bowl,
bowl.
no bowl.
Break their hearts.
But Chris and Jordan are playing night, we have live music,
Hey.
face painting bubbles.
Oh, fun.
Nice.
Cool.
Unless somebody wants to donate, I can. Where's the mechanical bowl?
Is that how much it
I
was?
might start fundraising in the fourth grade classroom because that was their favorite thing of the entire school year.
I would just say,
It's
would
like
just
a
say
dunk
it's
tank, and the
maybe.
headmaster and the dunk tank. It's like I have to do it. Oh man. Real quick, Jana, tomorrow, again, just to make sure, so Jana has some things that she wants to present to everyone tomorrow, but like a lot of what you say on there is like really applicable towards the upper school as well. I mean, are you planning on speaking to everybody?
My vision is So you think it ties in, great, if not.
All the same, we have a lot to cover tomorrow. So we're gonna have to be really disciplined and efficient tomorrow. So we'll start back up at 9, yeah, just like we did today. And we'll go to 12. I think that's it for today.
Yep.
All the best.
I'm going home.
Take care.
Yeah. So I was thinking to myself, be like, students, come on and help me finish organizing my classroom. You know the folks here. You can speak the class.
Thank you for coming tonight.